Hello, I'm Bill LeMay, and thank you for watching Community Matters. We hope you'll continue to watch as we discuss issues facing our community and provide you with the resources and information needed to find solutions. Today, we're discussing Raleigh tourism, and we're fortunate to be joined once again by the area's tourism expert, Dennis Edwards, the president and CEO of Visit Raleigh. Dennis, good to see you again.
Good to see you as well.
Boy, I bet things have picked up since last time we talked.
They sure have. We had an incredible 2022, and 23 looks just as good, if not better.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the state of tourism in Raleigh. Sure. Maybe we can even define what tourism is. There's lots of different, definitions for it.
Well, it's quite frankly, it's anybody that visits Wake County.
Okay.
And we track it a couple ways. We look at day visitors and then overnight visitors as well. And we just received our 22 numbers, and we had just a phenomenal year. We had 17.8 million visitors in 2022. That was up 2 million people from 21. So just definitely a big rebound in 22 as well. Those visitors spent $3 billion in direct expenditures. And more importantly for us as residents, they generated $287 million in sales tax revenue. So it was a very, very good year for Raleigh.
You know, and I was going to ask you, for folks who don't really fully understand what it means to have people come visit us, sometimes you got to kick them out of your house after a period of time, but It really makes a difference because all this goes back into our local economy.
It sure does. Particularly, you know, that $287 million that I referenced. I mean, that's money that goes right back into the general fund for our, and it saves us as taxpayers and residents a lot of money because that money goes back into schools and public safety and roads and many things that we rely on the general fund for. So it was very important. And we also look at jobs and our jobs. We saw a growth in job activity as well. We now have over almost 25,000 jobs in the hospitality sector just in Wake County alone. So a lot of people depend on how well tourism does from an employment standpoint as well.
Well, let's talk a bit about some of the areas. For instance, conventions. I know that has been a big deal here in Raleigh. Has it grown? And now that we've got COVID in our rearview mirror.
Yeah, we started to see a rebound in conventions, quite frankly, the mid part of 21.
Really?
But 2022, conventions were back. In many cases, they were breaking attendance records, which we saw the same number of conventions in 21, but attendance just quite wasn't back yet. And so in 22, we saw a big rebound in attendance. In fact, our convention center had a record-breaking year for conventions. We had 64 conventions and events in the convention center with a record of over 100,000 room nights, hotel room nights that the convention center generated for an economic impact of over $70 million. And that's just the convention center alone.
I mean, that's pretty amazing because you're competing with all these other communities who also have convention centers.
Yeah. It's, I mean, we've done a very I think strategic way of how we're attracting conventions. We've hit a lot on the markets that are good for this area, whether it's higher academic conventions or biotech or life sciences. We really focus on a lot of the same clusters that we know we're really strong in from an economic development standpoint.
We also have sports, though. One in particular, the Hurricanes.
Yeah, sports was a great year for us. I mean, obviously the Stadium Series made a lot of noise, which was great, great global visibility, and we actually sold. We were the fastest for selling tickets of any outdoor game that NHL ever had. We sold more merchandise than any outdoor game, so it was a big event for us. But we also had. We're very big into soccer, and we do a lot of collegiate activities as well in the NCAA. And you know, as an example, we hosted a back-to-back both men's and women's College Cup, which is the Final Four for soccer. and we hosted our first lacrosse women's championship game here in the market as well. And then we have a lot of youth events. People know the formerly Castle NCFC Youth. We have a lot of soccer tournaments, volleyball tournaments. We do a number of those in the convention center as well. So sports, youth, amateur, and collegiate sports is very, very big in this market.
And when we talk about leisure, what is that?
Well, I'll tell you, and that's the area where we've seen the biggest growth,
really?
Quite frankly. It's people have discovered the Raleigh market, and if you look at events, and a lot of that is driven by events, festivals, concerts. Dreamville now being a 2-day event, bringing in over 80,000 people over 2 days. From all states, all 50 states, 23 different countries, big for us. And then we have our concert season continues to be very strong in the market as well.
Well, I think you already mentioned it, that leisure is the area that you saw the most growth in. What do you think Raleigh's best known for when you're selling the city of Raleigh?
Yeah, I'm going to take the softball answer, but it's really true. It's really our diversity of activities. I mean, we have something for everyone. I mean, a lot of people refer to us as the Smithsonian of the South. We have some wonderful museums, but then you look at our greenways and our parks, and I mentioned all the concerts and live music scene, but also our culinary scene, craft brewery scene. We really have something for everybody of all ages, and many of our events and festivals and many of our activities are free of charge.
Well, that's why we always hit the top 10 list. Doesn't matter what it is. If it's the best in the country, we seem to be falling on that list.
Absolutely.
We're going to come back with Dennis. A lot more to talk about, so stick around. We'll be right back.